Good afternoon, Kinaway members, and welcome back to another episode of Kinaway TV. I'm a new face. My name's Liz Little, and I'm the Women's Sector Development Manager for Kinaway, and first time presenting a Kinaway TV webinar, so please be kind. So before we kick things off, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which I'm coming to you all from today, which is the land of the Dja Dja Wurrung peoples. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which each and every one of us who are tuning in are from, and pay respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I'd also like to extend those respects to First Nations people who are joining us this afternoon. As we usually do, I'd like to take a moment to remind our viewers of the support services currently available for Kinaway members, and hope I won't cover them all, but I'll just cover a couple. One of them that is currently still open is our tax support package. This package provides access to a range of bookkeeping and accounting services, such as preparation and submission of tax returns, BAS statements, online access to Xero and MyOb, and payroll obligations, superannuation work cover obligations to staff. So it's a really good package. So check out the link on the Kinaway website for that particular package. And finally, there are plenty of webinars on various topics available on our Facebook and YouTube channels. So please feel free to jump on at any stage and make yourself familiar with that content as well. Along with the webinars and support packages, Kinaway still offers our usual forms of business support to members. So feel free to contact Kinaway if you have any business challenges, issues, anything that you want to ask. Our team at Kinaway is always there to help you. So for today's webinar, we're pleased to be hosting a webinar on funding for Aboriginal businesses. And I'd like to welcome the three guest speakers we have today, who are Gina Ezard from Many Rivers, David Dio from Indigenous Business Australia, and Marcel MacArthur-Young from the Aboriginal Economic Development Unit in the Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions. They'll all share their diverse and many programs for businesses, and hopefully you'll get something out of what they have to share today. So without further ado, I will introduce you to Gina Ezard from Many Rivers, who will give you a bit of a spiel on what Many Rivers does and the types of programs that may be able to support. Thanks, Gina.
Great, thanks, Liz. Thank you, and thanks to Kinaway for the opportunity to present Many Rivers and the services that we offer. In particular, we offer business support and coaching to our clients. So who are we? Many Rivers is a for-purpose organisation providing enterprise development support to Indigenous and other Australians who want to start their own business and enhance their economic outcomes from that. The background on Many Rivers, we've founded about 14 years ago. We are Australia-wide, and there are 35 business coaches throughout Australia, both in metro and regional areas. Why do Many Rivers offer business support? Well, we offer business support to assist people who have a business idea and the skills to start a business. However, they need assistance to establish a sustainable business. And so that's why we offer the support to give them the grounding and the foundations. And the purpose for doing that is that we want to help people with their individual pathways and their future, with creating a financial security for themselves and to create a social inclusion within their community. So who do we work with? We work with people wanting to start a small business or people who are struggling in their businesses. And the reason that we do that is we're here to assist people to move them forward. What support do we provide? As a business coach or a micro enterprise development manager, which is my actual role, first and foremost, we offer business planning or business support. What does that look like? We actually assist our clients to do a business plan and cover off some of the really important things that they should be thinking about before they go into business. We also look at their cash flow management, and that includes a cash flow projection for the first 12 months of the business. We also look at record keeping management, and I'll come back to that a little bit later about how we can assist. And then we also do some marketing plan preparation, both before the business starts and or after the business has started, so that we give the business the best opportunity possible to do well within the marketplace that they're going into. We also advocate with our clients with outside organisations such as banks and government and any other organisations. It might be solicitors and accountants. We also ensure and work with our clients around compliance, such as making sure that the business has the right insurance, that they're working to council rules and regulations, and that they're also qualified for the business that they're doing, and also making sure that they're compliant with their tax. So how do we work with our clients? Okay, so we work one-on-one most of the time with our clients when we do meetings. So we work to the client's needs at the time. That might be a face-to-face meeting, or at the moment with COVID, we do a lot of online teleconferences, Zoom or Microsoft Office, etc. We offer flexible forms of communication, as I said, through Zoom, also via phone, email and SMS. And that can be pretty much at any time. We try to respond quickly and efficiently so that we give the businesses that we're working with the best opportunity to continue their business. We journey with our clients for as long as they need. So there's no set period about how long we work with them. And I still work with clients that I started with about 4 or 5 years ago. And quite often we use that opportunity just to check in to make sure that they're going okay. And many rivers also bring a wealth of business experience to the team. There are 35 of us around Australia, and we all come from different backgrounds and different industries. And we tap into each other's experience if we need to help our clients. But the most important thing is that when we work with our clients, that our clients drive the business. So we work with you for the needs that you have at the time of the meeting. So what are the services that we offer? So we already know that we offer business planning and cash flow forecasting, so business establishment. But we also have access to pro bono legal services, which is mainly around contracts, and if you're signing a lease, any kind of paperwork that we feel might be needed for the business to help move it forward. We have a record keeping kit that we have devised. It's a hands-on book. It's basically you write in it, it's money in, money out. Did I make any money this week or this month? And we find that when we have our businesses first start up, that's a really good way to start keeping records rather than going on to an online platform initially, and that because it costs money mainly. And we also have access to small business loans through Many Rivers, which are up to $5,000 and are basically paid back over a 12-month period and do have an interest rate that is attached to them. So there's criteria that sits around who Many Rivers can work with. Our clients will either be on a Centrelink benefit or they may be on a low income. And how do we establish that? Well, basically, it's if you're interested to get the services of myself or one of my colleagues, is you give me a ring or send me an email and we'll have a discussion and we can work out whether you sit within the criteria. I've just put this last slide up for you to have a look at. If you want to, you can visit our Many Rivers website and have a look at some of the stories that we've posted up there. There's some videos and also some newsletter stories. I thought that might be of interest to some people. We now have a short video just for you to have a look at to give you a bit more information around Many Rivers and what we do.
Whether you've started your own business or you dream of starting a business, there's a lot to think about. And sometimes it's hard to know how to take the next step. That's where Many Rivers comes in. We can match our practical business skills to your needs, so you can take that next step with confidence. We've got clients right across Australia, in cities, in country centres, and in remote locations. And we help businesses start, stay alive and thrive. Maybe you need to set up an ABN, draw up a business plan, do a SWOT analysis, or maybe it's something more complex. We can help you take your business from a startup to a success story, from a dream to a reality. Just visit our website and see the stories of some of the people and communities we've been proud to help. When you're ready, fill out the form, hit submit, and you'll be contacted by our customer service team. They'll introduce you to one of our business coaches who can start a broader conversation about what you hope to achieve for your business and answer some of the questions you might have. Maybe you'd like to know more about marketing, about ways to manage your inventory or your cash flow. Or maybe you'd like to set some smart goals. Whatever it is you'd like to explore, we can work on it with you. We're talking real-world advice from someone with a real desire to see you succeed. And the best part about our services? They're absolutely free, thanks to the backing of generous funders. There's no catch, but we do want to make sure we're supporting the people who need our help the most. Many Rivers is all about helping your business take the first step, and the next one, and the next one. And we're ready to start when you are.
Okay, so just to end on a note that I probably should have mentioned a bit earlier, we are a free service to our clients because we are fully funded through government and philanthropic service organisations. And I'm sure some of you would have been wondering that. So if you'd like to get in touch, you can call me on these details that are on your screen now, or you can get in touch with me through our website. And thank you, everybody.
Back. Thank you. Thanks so much, Gina, for giving that presentation. It's really helpful to find out more about Many Rivers and the services that they provide, and particularly the related microfinance that startups can receive to support the development and growth of their businesses. We'll take questions at the end of all the speakers, but we might move on now to, I'd like to introduce Marcel MacArthur-Young, who is from the Aboriginal Economic Development Unit in the Department of Jobs, Precincts and Regions. And they're currently running the First People's Business Support Fund, but the wider department through Business Victoria also has a whole range of different funding programs that Marcel will cover in brief terms and give you some links to those to check out further. So welcome, Marcel, and thanks for coming today and presenting on what DJPR has to offer.
Thank you, Liz. It's good to be here, although a bit nerve-wracking. First time I've done this. So welcome, everybody. The First People's Business Support Fund was launched on the 23rd of November, and and there were some delays, and probably a capital S for the some. There was COVID, there was the breakout, and then there was a range of lockdown implications for launching the grants. But on the 23rd of November it launched, and since then it's been consistent, but the program has just been extended yesterday, announced by the Minister Pulford, that it will now be extended to the 23rd of March. So that's really good news. So the purpose of the business is for Aboriginal owned businesses to meet business costs, to develop marketing, or to pivot their business in response to moving into what will be the new normal for operating businesses in 2021 and beyond. So there's I'm just going to put my screen up now, and no, I'm not. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that is just dreadful. There we go. So this is the announcement yesterday to extend the program to the 26th of March, and the purpose the purpose of the grant, as I mentioned, was to bolster businesses to continue and to move on into the new normal. And to be eligible for a First Peoples Business Support Grant, businesses must have an ABN registered in Victoria and must have been registered by the 16th of March 2020, must be a Kinaway member, have an annual turnover of $30,000 plus, and that can be pro rata, so could be based on a quarter, anytime from the financial year starting the 1st of July 2018 and moving through to now. So any quarter in that time that can show that you've had a turnover that meets that is acceptable. And most importantly, the ineligible businesses are those that have already received a business support grant in any form. So that could be from the first round, which was up to 10,000, the extension, which was up to 5,000, and then round 3, which is up to 10,000. So if any business has received any of those grants, they won't be eligible if they've had 10,000 or more. If people have businesses have received an extension grant of 5,000, then they can apply to First Peoples for a $5,000 grant to take them up to that $10,000, and the same for the Sole Trader Support Fund. So if people have received generally a $3,000 grant from that, they can apply for a $7,000 grant from First Peoples, and that will take them up to the $10,000. So there's not much that stops Aboriginal businesses from applying. So what's happened with the grant is that we've really reached out to people and businesses that have been really impacted, and a lot of the stories are about people working really, really hard, really long hours, and in a very uncertain world. So Carla Egan was one of our first businesses to receive a grant, and she, after a lot of really hard work last year and a lot of stress, obviously, that many people will be familiar with, it's enabled her to put her plans in action for 2021 and to grow her business as well. So that's just one of quite a few really good stories that we've got. We want to hear about more of them. So what have we done with the grant? So to date, and this was to about 9 o'clock last night, we've had a total of 100 applications. There've also been about another probably nearly 100 draft applications submitted, and they'll people will either submit them or they've determined that they're not eligible for the grant. So of the total 100 applications, 46 have been approved and have either been paid or will be paid in the next couple of days. Unsuccessful is 26, and those, without exception, have been because they've received business support funding of $10,000 or more. We had just in the 24 hours up to about 6 o'clock last night, we had 20 new applications, and they're in progress, moving through what we have to do. 10 of those are eligible and 10 of them are not eligible. And again, because they've received BSF funding, and 2 of them because they weren't registered before the 16th of March with the ABN. And that date is important because that was the date that the state of emergency was put into play by the Premier. So we've also got another 8 that Kinaway are working, and that's not the only ones they're working on, but there's 8 in particular that we know are definitely eligible. They've put in an application, but we're still waiting for some documentation generally from their accountant to prove their turnover. So what do we need for people to put in a successful application? Well, number one, proof of membership from Kinaway, and that's a Kinaway certificate issued and attached to the application. And the second is proving the $30,000 annual turnover. And there's a few ways that can you can show evidence of that. One is if people are registered for GST and have to put in a BAS statement, that would be eligible evidence of proof of turnover. Many Aboriginal businesses don't fit that. Don't need to put in a BAS statement. So a letter from your accountant is absolutely acceptable, but it must be on letterhead and signed, must show the ABN, and must show the business name. And the third way is a stat deck. So you can sign a stat debt certifying and verifying that your business earns 30,000 K a year or over. And when it's $30,000, it's not your profit, it is turnover. It's the amount of total sales before all expenses. So it's not profit, it's raw turnover. And apart from that, once we get them, they're going through now pretty quickly. Our payment system had a refresh over Christmas, New Year, and that caused a bit of delays. But they're going through really smoothly now. So the extra 8 weeks is really good to get that news yesterday. And so of the 100 applications, it would be really good to at least double that. And we know that there's that many with Kinaway businesses, and hopefully the bulk of those people will be eligible. So there is other support apart from the First People's Business Support Fund. There is the Coronavirus Business Support, which most people are probably familiar with, and that's through Business Victoria. There's mental health support for businesses. There's business recovery and resilience mentoring, and that's available from about 6 in the morning to 10 at night, and there's a free service as well for people to either talk about the stresses of in running their business at the moment, but importantly, resilience in moving forward. There's also the Commercial Tenancy Relief Scheme that's been around for a few months now. The Small Business Digital Adaptation Fund, which will be up until the end of March. And then there's also for those people, those businesses that are in that space, Trade Routes Indigenous Global Routes program, which is with RMIT. It's not really going to be relevant for a lot of Kinaway members, but there are some that could benefit from being involved with that. So most importantly, I think my message is get those applications in. If you just hit start an application and leave it at that, we can't do anything with it. I can't move them through the system. So you need to submit those applications, need to attach 2 documents, and then hit submit, and we'll take care of the rest. So if anyone has any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them as we move forward.
Great. Thanks so much, Marcel. That's really, I know that DJPR has so many different programs, and that major one coming out of the Aboriginal Economic Development Unit. It's really exciting to hear the changes announced in terms of being able to provide turnover evidence from the 2021 financial year. So I think you've got July to September and October to December quarters to submit that evidence now, whereas previously it was only for 18-19 and 19-20. So that could actually open it up to a number of new businesses, which is fantastic. And with the extension of the program as well, that's brilliant. I'd like to now introduce David Dio from Indigenous Business Australia. David's the man, and pretty much everyone knows David, and he's here to tell you about all of the things that relevant things for small business that IBA do. And look, if you haven't chatted to him, just give him a call, give him an email, introduce yourself. And because he'd really love to hear what you're doing, even if you don't need their services right now. So take it away, David.
Thanks, Liz, and thank you for inviting IBA to this forum. And just probably a heads up, just in case if the system drops off, just let me know, because I'm having a few technical internet issues. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional landowners of the land we've gathered here today. Pay my respects to past, present, and emerging leaders. For me today, I'm up at Jajawaran country. I humbly and respectively acknowledge the traditional owners' land, past, present, and emerging, and also extend this appreciation and respect to all my brothers and sisters from wherever you've gathered across the country. So IBA, basically I've been with IBA for over 4 years in business development, having about 23 to 24 years actually in the finance industry. And for Kinaway members, I think we may have worked with, if not all, but most of the clients. So we have that sort of bond with each other. Now, where do I sit in the equation? I work in the business development area, where I look at new business. Either it could be in any phase, which is startup, growth, stabilization, and helping them to develop their business models, or probably reinvent or pivot from where they are. Okay. So one of the core things which we offer in IBA is that one-to-one personal contact. Okay, we try and build that relationship. When we do that relationship, we have the discussions, and we are based across the country. So there's offices right across the country. We are up at 460 Burke Street. Some of the services which we offer through IBA, and most of you would be sort of accompanied to it, because as I said, we've had that relationship for most of the clients for a number of years. The services we offer is in the internal, some of the things we offer is like internal business support, where we have this one-to-one discussion and where we see where your journey is, how you've been tracking in business, where are you in business, what are some of the milestones you have done, what are some of the gaps, and we try and work with that gaps within that one-to-one discussion. We also acknowledge that we don't know everything. Okay, we try and sort of map out the next steps for you to move forward. And sometimes we go to external service providers who have that capability or sort of skill sets to go through with you on a one-on-one basis to move forward. Okay, so that's called an external business support. This could be in terms of support through taxation knowledge, through support in business acumen, special skill sets, more in-depth research programs within your business. Um, so that sort of discussion is, as I said, is mostly done through an external provider, which we sort of help support you through. Okay. We also run a lot of workshops. Last year, or pre-COVID, we used to run a lot of face-to-face workshops. Now, what we've done, gone online modeling of doing a business workshop, where we run um, introduction to business, startups, and many other workshops. And the best place to look for those workshops is on the IBA website. Okay, or if you have any difficulties getting into access to see what websites are available, just email me, as Liz said. I will definitely look out for you. Okay. Um, one of the core things which I want to specifically talk about is business loans. Okay. Most of the discussions when initial contact happens is business finance. And we do acknowledge that you need finance to start or help you progress in your business. And we help you with your application process. Okay. Now, some of the core sort of products within Victoria I've noticed, and specifically tailor-made for Victoria within my concept, is business loans in a startup phase. So when we talk about startup phase, we look at a loan up to 100,000 maximum. Okay, so minimum is 10,000, maximum is 100,000. We try and sort of support these new businesses to move forward by providing them a 30% grant, which is used to cover capital expenditure items. Okay, you'll have to take both loan and the grant together. You can't specifically put your hands up for a grant and leave the loan. So this sort of startup package is designed in a way to kickstart your business. Okay, and as I said, 30% of it could be converted into a grant. Now there is a few requirements for you to also help us understand your business model, and to make the right decision for you, because we don't want you to put you under most financial stress if we feel that there is something which we can work or improve on. Now, things like having your tax returns up to date, um, having your business plan, having your business registered in the structure of suiting your sort of business. Either it could be a sole trader partnership or company, depending on the individual needs. We sort of help you sort of structure your business with some sort of support. Um, Again, as I'm trying to stress here, is that we need to work together to help you move forward. There's a few other compliance forms which are necessary for us to get in order to support you, and we work with you in getting that across the ground. Now, we also do um, a lot of other lending products like operating lease, invoice financing, performance bonds, um, and these are depending on the cycle or the nature of the business. Okay, um, where do we stand today in Victoria? There is a lot of businesses which are pivoting, thinking outside the scope. And trust me, with COVID, we thought we was going to go standstill. Businesses have already started pivoting or have already pivoted quite well, and we see new business ideas spring up every day. So where do we come in? We come in that space and discuss more in depth of how you've been performing, how's your taxation issues, how is your um, business ready for growth. We help you develop your capability as we go along the business skill sets. The one thing is important is that we must be able to transform or be able to sort of grasp any business support we provide through a consultant. So the main aim is for you to personally develop your business acumen as you go along. Okay. Um, Now, in terms of the way you can contact us is either through IBA office up at 460 Burke Street. Liz has got my email address. Kinaway members have also got my email address. You can give me a phone call away. Normally, I get a lot of introductions through Liz and the team out at Kinaway, and it's Also, a phone call through our 1-800 number or through our website inquiry, where you can get in touch with us. As I said, for us to help you better understand, we will work together, and we need that one-to-one relationship develop through in such a way that we all both set ourselves in a position where we can sort of move your business forward. Um, in terms of the overall structure where we sit in is, once we sort of provide you a lending support, we move you to a relationship manager who manages or works with you, exactly is the word, to help you move forward in your business. um, and that's probably having that 3 months or 4 months one-to-one conversation on how your business is performing, giving you some advice, and helping you along to see that you move through the journey successfully. Okay. And at any stage, as I said, if you need any discussions or any support to where you are in your business and where do you need to go, either it could be in preparation stage or startup phase, either you want to grow, mature, or even to move or move into exit mode, you can you're most welcome to give us a call and discuss this on a one-to-one basis. As I said, we are all here to help you. We may not have all the skill sets which we have. We can also tap onto our other colleagues in the office who may have some skill sets within this industry. In the worst case scenario, when we see the need, we put you to as an external service provider, as I earlier said. But as I said, no idea, no discussions is worth. Just give us a call and introduce yourself. And as I said, we are here to support you. Okay. This is our role. And as I said, if there's any issues in contacting me, just get hold of Liz, and I'll be more than happy to sort of help you within the business circle, both at a personal level and professional. If there's any questions after this, then happy to have a chat over here, or also if you wanted to talk on a one-on-one basis, just give me a bell.
Great. Thanks so much, Dave, for joining us today and providing a bit of an overview of the Indigenous Business Australia services. If you'd like to get on to David or any of the other speakers, you can contact the Kinaway General email address, and we'll shoot you through their contact details. So I'd like to thank all of the speakers today, but before we leave you, we'll open this forum up to questions from all the speakers, and hopefully we'll be able to answer some of your questions. So Carla Egan is asking, could you expand, Marcel, on the Small Business Digital Adaptation Program, please?
Yeah, sure. Carla, I'm not, I don't have a lot of details about it, but it allows eligible businesses to trial and receive access to digital products, tools and training to build digital capability in their day-to-day operations of running their business. So it's based on purchasing a product, and then our business can apply for a rebate of $1,200 to access the product for 12 months. And along with that, the program also offers digital adaptation training and workshops for free or as part of that program to help registered businesses adopt and implement online tools in their business, which is a really good idea. But I've sent through the links to all these to Kinaway, but Carla, I'll get someone specifically to contact you about that one. That would be really good.
Great.
If
yeah.
people access that.
And I think it's defined products, isn't it, Marcel?
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is exactly defined products. So that will be determined by what the business is. But I think everyone could help from some digital upgrading with the the new normal world that we're going into.
Yeah, great. So we've got a question from Stephanie. Stephanie, this is a question for you, Gina. Are there any sort of common themes you're noticing with businesses that may be struggling and are accessing your services?
Look, not particularly, not in any particular industry anyway, but I think one of the things that we are finding is that, or that I find, is that marketing is a theme that runs through with a lot of our clients. They don't know how to do that, and especially in this day and age with online social media, etc. And when I work with my clients, we don't look at just that. We have to look at that, but we also look at other forms of marketing, and we do a lot of brainstorming. And I would say that's probably, if anything, that would be the common theme.
Yeah, I think it's worldwide marketing, and it gets so complex with social media as well, and all of the new things like TikTok and all of those other things that and different branches and everything.
And if I can just also add to that, one of the things that I do find is a lot of our clients throw a lot of money at social media, such as Facebook campaigns, and I would say that that's probably not necessarily the right way to go, and that they're thinking about other avenues and doing maybe the hard yards in terms of other research is probably the better way to go.
Yeah, it can be a big money pit. So Chantel has a question for Marcel in terms of what's the sort of time frame of processing for the First Peoples Business Support Fund, and how long does it take to find out about the result of your application?
As long as the applications have those two documents attached, which is the Kinaway certificate and turnover, I process them every day so that they've already moved on to the next step in the process. So if those documents are fine, they then go for me to get endorsed, and then they get approved, and then they go to payments. And payments have advised 3 to 5 working days once they get it. However, if any businesses haven't received a grant before or any payments from the department, we also have to set up what's called an Oracle vendor site, and that's the payment site that we have your bank details there so that you can actually get paid. And that may take up to 3 days as well. We're trying to push them through as fast as possible. So I suppose the short answer, Chantel, is that they should only you should know within a week. So people that are not eligible, I'm letting them know pretty well within 24 hours now. And people that are eligible, they should hear certainly within 5 working days max. And if they don't, they need to contact us and I'll progress that and get some details back on specific cases. But ideally, if everything can go tick at the beginning, it should be no more than 7 working days if you're brand new and have never had a payment before, and less if you have.
And Marcel, what's the auto advice, like emails that people get if they've been approved? And
yes, so once it's been approved by from our branch, applicants get an auto response then to say that they're successful and how much that grant will be. And for most people, it is $10,000 unless they've received a smaller fund. So they will get that, and then once that notice of being successful is received, it should be no more than 5 working days. And that's really important because we know there's been glitches, and I wish we had a magic wand to fix it, but we don't, sorry. But it's really good if people can get back to us if they don't receive that. So I follow up with some emails at the end of every week for people that have been successful to make sure that they have received those notifications and they have received their money. And if not, we follow it through on a case-by-case basis.
okay. I think David dropped off for a bit. I had a question for Gina, and Gina, your role title says that you're in the Northwest. Where does Many Rivers cover?
In terms of Victoria only?
Yeah.
Yep. So we pretty much cover most of Victoria. So I've got myself in the Northwest. I do go up to Ballarat and down to Geelong. And then we've got Richard, who's in the south. So he looks after all of that kind of from the city down. And then we've got Bendigo. So we've got Frankie in Bendigo, and she covers kind of that top end up to, I'm not exactly sure where she starts and finishes, but then we've got another Richard who's in, he's up on the border. Oh, just completely forgot. But we cover quite a bit of Victoria. So,
Yeah.
and look, you know what? One of the things that's with COVID that's happened is that we actually will, we can access everybody now because we do so much work on Zoom. So I even go and work with clients down in as far as Warrnambool, but we do all via Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everywhere, actually.
Changed the world.
Yes. COVID, yeah.
That's all right. I'm not sure that we're getting David back yet. And I don't think there's any further questions we've got coming through. Please send them through quickly if you've got anything burning, to get out, and ask Marcel and Gina. I don't think so. And Marcel, can you remind us of the closing date, the new closing date for the Business Support Fund?
So it's been extended for 8 weeks to the 26th of March. And if people have any need some advice on what the documents should look like and things like that, Kinaway obviously are there to help, and are very much our partners in this, in getting as many through as possible. So it's a $3 million fund, and at the moment there's only 100 applications, so probably about 700,000 only so far. So we'd love to give it all away, obviously. That would be fantastic. So 8 weeks and to submit them.
All right, fantastic. Well, if there's no more questions, I'd like to thank you both, Gina and from Many Rivers, and Marcel from the Aboriginal Economic Development Unit in Jobs Precincts and Regions, and David Dio from Indigenous Business Australia, who we've lost. And I'm not quite sure whether he's coming back, but thank you so much for spending time telling us about funding options available for Aboriginal businesses. It's a good time of the year to, start thinking about that for growth this year. And for those that have tuned in, thanks again for joining us for this funding webinar. Please feel free to reach out to the team at Kinaway to connect you to some of those programs and the speakers. Additionally, if you want to catch up on any previous Kinaway panel discussions or webinars, jump onto the Kinaway Facebook and YouTube channels. This particular webinar will be on Facebook and the YouTube channels a little bit later on. A reminder also, just on the screen, Kinaway has a 1-800 number, 1-800-KINAWAY, which is our mental wellbeing service. So if any businesses are struggling with anything, even with your family, employees, please feel free to reach out to that number, and Brendan, our wellbeing support person at Kinaway, will help you and have a good chat about any things that you'd like to raise with him. So until next time, don't forget to check out the support services Kinaway has to offer through the website, and leave a like on today's video. Subscribe to the channel and turn on any notifications so that you can get an indication of our forthcoming webinars. We'll have a calendar available soon of a range of different webinars from workshops to panel discussions on various topics. So thanks all again who joined us this morning, and signing out.